SA Fashion Week is celebrating 27 years of paving the way for local designers. Yesterday was day one of the 2024 Autumn-Winter collection held at the Mall of Africa. Our Fashion Week opened with seasoned designer Ephraim Molingoana, who showcased his first Ephymol collection at the South African Fashion Week back in 2002. He joins us now in studio about the opening night and the career that he's had so far in the fashion industry. It's so great to have you in our midst. I said off air, we're in the midst of stars today.
I think you're humbly so.
And it's worth repeating. Thanks for popping by.
Yes.
You know? We also spoke about how long you've been doing this. 21 years.
21 years.
And still going strong. I have to ask for your reflections on how you think SA Fashion Week has evolved and how that's helped designers like yourself.
You know what? When I started a long time ago with the likes of Stone Cherries and Lot, we are just but a number of black young designers coming from nowhere, trying to find our feet in the industry. And Lucilla Boysen from SA Fashion Week, she already sort of like placed a platform. And at that time, it was still touch and go because no one even understood what Fashion Week was all about. And Lucilla made sure that it was a platform not for only established designers, because we didn't even have established designers. We had one or two, I mean, I can count. It was the likes of Sister Bugs. It was the likes of Marian Fassler, who were like the boys of there was a designers called the boys then.
Right.
Those were the designers. And then when we came in, people were skeptical. Who are these people? Who are they? They've never been in the industry. But we have to prove ourselves up and beyond to the level where I am today, you know. I remember media used to call me a designer in inverted commas, because no one knew. I never went to the design school, by the way. Wow. So I was a completely different person when I came in. And I had to prove myself 20 times more than my peers and I'm still standing.
Yeah, absolutely you are. And I suppose that kind of background has also assisted you in putting together the kind of work that isn't conventional. You know, I think you actually pride yourself in sometimes breaking the rules in some ways.
Yes.
And I always say I feel incredibly underdressed when I'm sitting with fashion designers. And today is not different. You're literally glittering.
Yes, this is my current collection that I showcased yesterday night.
Yeah.
And thanks to, I don't know if I'm supposed to say the brand, but my sponsor for the show, it was a vodka, very well-known vodka. And I had to honor them and thank you for giving us a platform again, because, you know, in these tough times of economy, you have to say, is food on the table, is clothes on the table? What goes first? You know what I mean? And so we have to balance the scale. And with the likes of Fashion Week giving us that platform, even, you know, it's very tough. I'm not going to lie to you. It's very tough for them to put that kind of a show, because it takes quite a lot of money, you know, flying designers from all over the country and put them all in the mall. And so I must say it has been a great journey. For me, it's still the beginning. I always tell the youngsters, I said, you know what, for you to find and make a platform of yourself, never say I've made it. Always say, it's a beginning. I'm learning from the youngsters of today to say, okay, what's needed in the market? And then without forgetting the old market that I had to service. You know, that's why we still see a lot of big brands all over the world that's still standing up today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Speaking about the youngsters, you actually started out as a model, or at least did that somewhere in your own journey.
Yes.
I wonder how much perspective that gave you, at least when it comes to what you then feed into your work.
Yes. 10 years, I was a model for 10 years, period of 10 years, and it helped me a great journey, a great deal, because I had to learn how to stand, how to work with all different kinds of people, personalities. You know, this industry is a cutthroat industry, and it can make you or break you. So fortunately, I was one of the youngsters who wanted to be the person I want to be. And I've been working with the likes of Brenda Fassie, Levo Matosa, Lucky Dubes of this world, you may name it. And I cultivate myself not just being a model, but I was a model, becoming stylist, becoming this, and in the industry producer. I mean, I've worked with the likes of Jan Malan to do, working for Face of Africa as a young creative. Coming with a concept like a Metro Music Awards, I sat down and said, we have to do something. And then sit down with the producers and then came with the... So I've always tried to pioneer certain things. Fashion was not just a fashion for me. It was a culture.
And that's exactly what I was hoping would grow.
Yes.
Especially because you mentioned cultural icons. I mean, Brenda Fassie, Levo Matosa, even, you know, the awards you mentioned. To what extent do you keep that in mind? You know, this is not just garments that people wear, but sometimes it's a cultural statement.
A cultural statement.
It reflects where we are in the country. And possibly how we feel about certain things.
You know, I was never there in the 80s, 70s. I was still young, and I know the movements of Sophia Town. I heard about the swankers, and for me, it's always been fascinating to see that back then in the days, men in the mines, they'll work and wear their clothes because they couldn't go back home. You know, they'll stay in the camp for like many months, years before they go back home. So their clothes will tear and all that. Then they have to make things like doing a patchwork on their clothes and all that. And for me, it became their culture. You know what I mean? Because the swankers, that's how they look today. The essence of fashion in South Africa is quite huge in a sense that it comes from different parts of cultures. You know, we got your Ndebele, your Pedi, you name it, all our different cultures backdrop. And when we put all that, we are actually fascinating the world because, you know, the world has said, wow, this is something that South Africa can offer. And sometimes we as designers or we as South Africans, we overlook ourselves. We don't go deep into our cultures and actually cut out and bring. Hence, even yesterday, one of my models, I put a blanket. People said it's a blanket, it's a poncho. I said, no, it's actually the wrap that Xhosa men they wear. But it just that it looks too fashionable for everybody. But that's I took from that kind of culture.
Wow,
you know
fascinating. Yeah, it's certainly an opportunity for us to put ourselves on the world map. And I suppose there are some people in the industry who feel like even the government is not leveraging on that enough. You know, there is still so much we could do to support designers and to make sure that they too play country duty in the way that they know how, which is to elevate our culture in that way.
Yes, it's one of the talks that is touch and go. You know what I mean? It's said that we, in today's 2023, we're still talking about government is not seeing the bigger picture of what the industry, this sector can bring. I mean, clothing industry back in the 80s, 90s, even early 90s, huge in the country. I mean, people from all over the world used to come and produce here. Big brands. You know what I mean? We had a big brands, even in terms of things like wool and all that. We had a huge, DKNY used to buy their wool from South Africa. That's big. You know what I mean? Today, all that is gone. Factories are laying around without having no people working, nothing. So we need to rebuild that skill again. And it's only going to take the government to say, guys, we're opening our doors, here we go. What can we do? But we need the will of the government. Unfortunately, we still don't have that. You know, and I must say and emphasize that if government can really get people who knows how to run the industry, don't just get somebody who doesn't know anything but just become a government person to come and tell us what to do. No, we know what to do. Just give us the tools. Yeah,
we all know the devastating story of the textile industry in Cape Town, right?
Yes.
It used to be bustling, huge, great for employment.
Absolutely.
And today, as you mentioned,
absolutely,
white elephants in the form of those factories that are standing there.
Yes.
But speaking about people who know what to do in the industry, I know mentorship is also a big component in surviving what you described as a cutthroat industry. How important was that for you?
You know what? When we started, I didn't have any mentor to mentor me.
Wow, really?
But we look at one another to say, what's our strength? You know what I mean? I look at the likes of, like I said, I work with the brilliant people like Lebo Matosa, Pendafast and all that. So we said, okay, Lebo, you're good in music. You're so-and-so. Can I style you? Can I dress you? And that, we mentored one another to say, you're good in what you're doing, choreography. How can we all leverage from one another?
Wow.
And for me, that's mentorship without even saying, I'm mentoring you. Because from there, you can be able to give somebody else without saying, you know, I'm saying, okay, let me give you a piece of what I can do. And then everybody just put all that together. I got youngsters that I always mentor, come to my studio from school, from colleges and all that. And it's a great opportunity for me to impart, to part with that kind of knowledge that I've took from other people as well, as I grow, as I move into this direction. And I must say, the likes of David Clales, Tula Cindy's, we all have come together in one house called, the shop called Africa Rise. It's great. It's a platform that Tula Cindy has dreamt about it, and then he said, you know what, we're going to put the best of South Africa here and Africa here. So now that kind of collaboration is very important because we're putting all our 5 cents together to make everything to look good. Wow. You know what I mean? Yeah. So government, please come and shop from us.
There you go. From your lips to their ears, as they say. And I love that spirit of collaboration. You know, I can't think of any industry, in fact, where everybody is completely self-made, and I think that's very important. But again, people looking from the outside, okay, let me speak for myself. I don't consider myself a very fashionable guy. I'm saved by these suits Monday to Friday.
You want to see without a suit. How do you look?
You don't want to see without a suit. That's the issue. But for a lot of people, we all want to look good, but we don't all have the confidence of thinking we can pull it off ourselves. I mean, you're in the industry of making people feel confident, actually, in what they're wearing. What do you say it is that they need to remember in that process, in dressing themselves and in feeling that confidence?
First and foremost, you're not obliged to wear any kind of the best of today designers. No, because that's where you're going to go wrong. You got to wear what you can afford. You got to wear what suits you, what suits your career, because I don't see you wearing a bling in the morning. No, in the morning, with the news. So I always say fashion is a lifestyle. Fashion, without being just a lifestyle, it's a part of your life. You breathe and eat fashion every day without even noticing that this tie, you got to look good if I put with this suit. You know what I mean? No one tells you. You imagine yourself. So just like if I'm going to buy a certain brand of a car or a house, I imagine myself first and foremost to say, how I'm going to look in that house, how I'm going to look in that car. Then you go and purchase it. So it's fashion, so it's clothing. A bit of item, you just don't buy anything from the shelf or from a designer. You got to first visualize yourself. Does this suit me? That's going to fit me. That's going to fit my image. The purpose of that. Then you put all that together, those factors. Then you make yourself out and say, hey, I would love it.
Because you've inspired me to go in that direction. Ephraim, it's been so nice catching up. Thank you so much for coming through. Your contribution will be spoken about, I know, for many years to come, and we can't see what else you've got in store.
Yes, I really appreciate it, and thank you to the country for keep on supporting us. We should be all supporting one another because we need to grow this economy, and it's upon each and individual of ourselves.
Absolutely. It's not just the garments on your back. It's certainly a statement to be made, and I think helps with self-actualization. Ephraim Molingoana, thanks very much indeed for coming through.
Pleasure.